Hey everybody, it's me. Sorry for the noise, but the traffic is kind of crazy right now. It is 2:44 Eastern Standard Time. I just got done an interview at Everest Textiles. Went pretty well. Should hear from him in about a week. So we shall see what happens. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. So yeah, I'm walking to go meet my brother-in-law. I gotta catch a bus station, meet him over at McDonald's in Spindale. Figured I would take this opportunity to kind of talk a bit, since I usually don't do too many podcasts. But let me talk about some of the things I heard in Everest, which is kind of encouraging. Taiwanese company coming back to try and bring textile jobs back, and that's a good sign, because we need to bring manufacturing back here. I think in many ways, a lot of the corporations, not Everest obviously, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know how old they are right offhand, but a lot of corporations that left in the late 80s, early 90s, first to Mexico, then later to Asia, I think they failed to understand the quality of the workforce, the educational systems, the kind of here in the United States, we have a great educational system. It's not as perfect as it should be. Some will argue it's not as good as it used to be. But for the most part, we have a very highly skilled, highly educated workforce. And that's been that way for decades. Pretty much ever since the end of World War II, with the GI Bill and whatnot. But with the beginning of the free trade era, we've seen that a lot of those jobs have gone overseas, and not all the quality of the work has not really stood up to what it was before they left. And this is a broad generalization, and this has nothing to do with Everest or anything like that, because I really don't know much about them other than they're working here. From what I've gathered in my research, they're a pretty good outfit. They do make pretty good quality products, and they're a Taiwanese company. So Taiwan has been an economic force for decades, ever since they essentially broke away from mainland China in the late 40s, early 50s. So it's a bit different than saying a company that actually originated in mainland China, because there is a difference. For most part, what we consider to be China's economic boom started in the mid to late 80s, when they started opening up and becoming more democratic. Well, not democratic, but more open towards capitalism. I mean, let's face it, the Chinese Communist Party is really just a name only. They're pretty much a very capitalist nation right now. It could be argued even they're more capitalist than we are. So, and the relations between China and Taiwan are obviously difficult. China considers Taiwan to be a quote-unquote rebel province, unquote. Technically, the United States considers Taiwan still part of China. Technically. For all intents and purposes, it's essentially an independent country, de facto independent country. Most world bodies consider Taiwan to be independent, maybe not by the official Republic of Taiwan name. International sporting bodies usually refer to it as Chinese Taipei. But essentially, Taiwan is an independent nation and has been for some time. So, in that sense, there is a difference there. Now, it remains to be seen if this regeneration of textile jobs amounts to anything in the United States. It may just be that a few companies come back over here because they view that the quality of work we do is better than what they can get over there. It may very well be that they can manufacture it cheaper here in a market here than just have it shipped overseas there. and bring it over across, because it takes 30 days from the beginning to bring it from here, not here, but from China over the United States. There's the ocean voyage, there's customs, the whole 9 yards. So it takes a while. And years ago, that used to be not a problem. But ever since 9/11, when you had stricter customs and such, that has become a problem. And in many ways, it's become a relatively big issue. And I firmly think that it's taken 16 years since 9/11 for it to really start trickling down here. But I think that's part of the reason why you're starting to see some of these companies come back here, because it's cheaper to manufacture it here and sell it here, because you don't have to deal with customs, you don't have to deal with the long ocean voyage, you don't have to deal with the logistics nightmare that is shipping from one country to another. Here it's a lot simpler. You're mainly just using tractor trailer rigs to move stuff around, maybe trains perhaps, but even that isn't that bad. Now, how does America get better in the economic force, specifically here in Rutherford County? Well, we need better roads. The 221 project needs to be gotten back on, basically kicked into overgrowth. Should have been done 30 years ago. Like a lot of things that should have been 30 years ago. Secondly, you have to start expanding roads. I can tell you right now, Railroad Avenue needs to be 3 lanes, a turning lane. They don't have that right now. It needs to be made 3 lanes right now. The traffic's a nightmare through there during rush hour. Quite frankly, there are a lot of empty plants that could be used for supporting businesses like Everest and other businesses and such. And we need better and more aggressive economic development coordinators in this area to bring in business, and not just small companies, but big companies. Why not try for the Amazon second home office for Rutherford County? Stick it on 74 bypass, or original 74 bypass, or the new one. Give them whatever they want. That'd bring a huge shot in the arm, bring a lot of people, which some county commissioners and civic leaders may not like, but hey, it's worth a shot. And I firmly believe it would be in the benefit of us as Americans to have that here. So, my feeling is this: we have a great workforce here. Now, there are some people who will say, well, not everybody in this county wants to work. Yeah, there are some. There's always been some people that want to ride the system and such. But in my experience, there are a lot of people, especially older folks like myself, who, if we get an opportunity, a full-time paying job with good benefits, we're going to take that ball and run with it and score touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And there are plenty of people who just want to live off the government. But I think those people are not nearly as numerous as some critics will believe. But it's my firm belief that there are a lot of people in this country who are hardworking people. A lot more, I think, in this county than some people would be led to believe. And I think that in time, businesses will see that. If we get away from some of the other stuff that we hear. I would turn down on, what is it, Fairgrounds Road, I guess. This is Fairgrounds Road. That's the one going by the transit center, so I'm going to catch the bus. So if you'll pardon me being a little bit out of breath, I don't walk as much as I used to. I should, but I don't. I'm still in pretty decent shape for an old guy. So anyhow, it's kind of muggy out here right now. It's supposed to get up to 90, but I'm still in pretty good shape. I'm heat doesn't bother me as much as it used to. I think I'm being one of those old people that used to hate summer and like winter. Now I sort of like summer and hate winter. Because cold weather does not go well with my bones. Yeah, it's not as fun as it used to be in cold weather. But anyhow, it is a hopeful sign that we're seeing more businesses come into Rutherford County. More businesses making strides to come here. That's important because for a long time, a lot of the workforce has been discouraged because they feel like that, hey, this is supposed to be a resort and retirement community. And in many ways it is. And you'll have to excuse me, I got 2 trucks coming by. It's going to get kind of loud here in a moment, so yeah, just wait for a moment. There we go. All right. Sorry for that. Couldn't be avoided. But hey, I'm in the downtown part of Spindale, the gritty streets of Spindale. Or was that Rutherford? I used to say I can't remember, the great metropolis of Spindale. That's what I used to call it. So, but it would be nice if we saw the old Mastercraft Oakland plant get back up and running, as well as the old Reg Trawl, where my mom, God rest her soul, used to work at. That would be nice. I'm actually walking up on Alliance Precision Plastics. They're hiring people. I wish they'd have called me. I'd have worked for them, but I've heard some things good and bad about the place, but that's like any place else, you know. There's some good people, some bad people, blah, 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 blah. You know how it is. Every workplace has its pros and cons. So, one thing that really could help this county is if they had a better public transportation system. What we have for a county of our size is actually pretty good. So, I'm not knocking it. It's actually pretty good for a rural county, as small as we are, to have the kind of transportation system that we do have. But it could really be better. And it's one of those things, I think, if you get the funding and you get the kind of people behind it, I think you're going to see a lot of great results happen because of that. So, whew. It is muggy. It is muggy, 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 muggy. So anyhow, yeah. The economy around here is starting to come back a little bit, and that's great to see. Because for, almost 20 years, ever since a lot of textile industries started closing down around 97, 98, it's been kind of rough. And we've had, Facebook's here, but Facebook doesn't employ as many people as, say, Stonecutter and Mastercraft and all the other mills put, Facebook's got a big name to it, but the amount of people they have there is a fraction of what used to be at Stonecutter. So, it's great in many ways, but the benefits aren't as great as they really would be if Everest were to hire, say, several hundred people, get them full-time jobs, and get them benefits. And I'm hoping they don't overwork people, because one of the temptations is if people are desperate, they're going to work lots of hours. You burn people out really quickly that way. The vast majority of people just want to work 40 hours full-time with benefits. They'll work overtime if need be, but you don't want to burn them out either. And that's important, because if you burn people out, if you're working them 60, 70, 80 hours a week, they're not going to stick around, no matter how desperate their situation is. If they do stick around there, they could have health consequences. I used to work 2 jobs, essentially 2 full-time jobs. And when I was getting 40 hours at Walmart, whenever that happened, and plus the 32 hours I'd get a security job, 40 plus 32, you can do the math, 72 hours. There were 168 hours in a week. You can do the math. Yeah, I was logging in quite a few 16 to 20 hour days back in the day. It was not unusual for me to get home at 6 o'clock in the morning, go to bed, get up at 10, be at work at 11, and get off, say, 8 o'clock, head to my other job that starts at 10, and yeah, it's not fun. So yeah, it is what it is. But anyhow, I'm heading up toward transit. Gotta wrap this baby up. But it's a good sign that we're starting to see companies coming in and other existing companies expanding. West Truck, things are picking up a bit. I know Manual Woodworkers and Weavers, where I used to work at, they're picking up. They're going to be maybe even expanding a bit. And we'll see how that happens. We shall see. But, you know, I've been down this road before. Does the word Mako Marine ring a bell with anybody? How about that zinc plant down in the southern part of the county? I can't remember the name. Horsehead, that's what it was. We remember that. So, yeah. I have to admit that the whole Everest thing, I'm kind of, my cynical side, my skeptical side is coming out a little bit going, okay, how serious are these people at actually investing long term here? Or are they just here for the tax benefit? And when that tax benefit runs out, they'll go, oh, we can't make it here. So, yeah, there is that. Whew. Well, folks, I've just about arrived here at transit. Crossing the street over now to wait for the bus. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a great weekend ahead. And for all of us here at RSN, good night, good luck, and may the good news be yours.